Alright folks, welcome back. Been looking forward to sharing this one with you. I have been waiting on some confirmations from Colt and whatnot before I showed it out. But I got the letter back today and it shows exactly what I suspected it to be. We've got a Colt Custom Shop single action army. This gun is a late 3rd gen. I often refer to these guns when they come back to having a removable cylinder bushing as 4th gen guns. This gun was built in 2012 and shipped in early 2013, which would have been right at the beginning of the removable bushing coming back into being a standard feature on single action army guns. This gun was built by longtime Colt Custom Shop smith, Richard Stoddard. Excuse me while I pull up this on my screen here. Rich worked for Colt for 38 years until December of 2012 when he retired. He was a Vietnam veteran, served in the U.S. Navy. And pretty much started with Colt right after getting back from that. He worked, I believe, from 74 to 2012. Rich then, I believe, had something to do with the beginnings of Standard Manufacturing, who's still manufacturing fine single actions nearby Colt in Connecticut. There's a blurb about him on Standard's website. It doesn't really say whether he was working there building guns after he left Colt or what have you. Standard was formed in 2014. The blurb on their site says Mr. Stoddard entered the military out of high school and quickly found himself in Southeast Asia. After his service to our country, he successfully graduated from the Colorado School of Trades, which is a gunsmithing school. He then worked at Colt from 74 to 2012 as a master gunsmith in their custom shop from 91 to 2012. He was responsible for making many special order guns, primarily the O-frame 1911s, and he built many prototype and show guns, as well as some special single action armies. So, interesting tidbit about this gun. Rich built this gun, and this gun ended up being gifted to Rich. Colt gifted this to him. Here's the test target from Colt. Also comes with a baggie of extra parts, which isn't standard, certainly. I would say this gun was built with the idea of being shot, and being shot a lot. We have an extra bolt, and an extra bolt sear spring, and an extra front sight in here, which are your common parts to replace. The front sight, of course, you could have different height front sights for regulation. And the bolt and bolt sear spring tend to be the first parts to go in a single action army when you use them. How this gun differs from a standard single action army of the day most notably is the flat top frame with the drift adjustable, windage adjustable rear sight, and the front sight, pinned in front sight blade there. What you might not notice right off the bat is this has an 1860 or extended grip frame. The Colt 1860 had a longer grip frame than the single action army. And even as early as the single action army existed, there were guys who would bolt an 1860 frame onto their single action army to get a longer grip. In the 80s, Colt offered, they're very rare, but they do exist in the 80s, extended single action army grip frames. Most of those guns were nickel plated, but they are out there. Very hard to find, but something that Colt did make a few of. This gun, I suppose in my opinion, is probably, in talking with a couple of guys at the Colt Custom Shop, is at most one of 3 3rd gen flat top targets. I believe that I was informed that there was 2 others made, 2 other adjustable sight guns like this made after Rich left. I'm not clear, and either of them have the extended grip frame, or if they're 7.5 inch barrels, or if they have a black powder chamfered cylinder. You notice this gun is fully blued. The end label of the box is standard for a P1770. So it says that it's a 7.5 inch 44 special, which is correct, but it also says blue and color case finish, because what they started with would have been a standard gun. That's the SKU of the standard 7.5 inch 44 special. Other features of this gun, like I mentioned, the heavy black powder chamfer on the front of the cylinder. Being full blued harkens back to the original flat top targets, the first generation flat top targets. Very rare, very, very collectible guns. Were full blued, with a very few being nickel finished. Other features is we have fire blued screws and features. The lock and the base pin are fire blued. The sights are fire blued. You also, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but the screws are all regulated all the way across, front to back. All the screws are regulated, run in the same direction. Really a monument to Rich's career, and it's pretty fabulous that Colt gave him this for his retirement after that many years of service. I got the letter in, and of course calls out all those special features, and remarks down here at the bottom. Subject revolver was a retirement gift from Colt, or excuse me, for Colt employee Rich Stoddard, who was employed as a custom gunsmith by the Colt company. That's about all I got to say about it. I wish this gun was well used and I could make a good excuse to shoot it and enjoy it the way that it was intended. But as it is, this gun has looks to me to have 5 burn rings on the front, on the face of this finished cylinder, which is the 5 rounds fired into this target. And so I will be rehoming this gun, as I'm not in a position to keep a safe queen. But really an exquisite gun, fabulous looking gun, fine fit and finish front to back. The grips are another thing, interestingly enough. The letter calls out being furnished without stocks. Rich was a well-known woodworker. So I do wonder if Rich may have made these stocks. What is this? Let me pull up his obituary. Rich passed away sadly in 2018, just a few years after his retirement. But it says here he was a talented woodworker, and Rich was a member of the Eastern Connecticut Woodturners Association and was also a member of the Rockville Fish and Game Club. So the woodwork certainly could be Rich's. They're not marked. I have had this grip frame off of the gun to inspect, and they are not marked, but just perfectly fitted and perfectly fit in the hand as well. Outstanding Colt collectible. Very, very rare Colt Custom Shop piece. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check the description for all our links, and we appreciate you tuning in.